Maria's story. A mother's sacrifice. The worn fabric of the scarf chafed against Maria's neck as she hurried through the early morning streets, but she barely noticed the discomfort. Her steps were quick, her eyes sharp, her gaze fixed on the distant houses that lined her path. Each of them represented another opportunity, another chance to earn a few coins to feed her son and keep him in school. In the quiet town where Maria lived, everyone knew her. They knew her for her worn-out clothes, her calloused hands, and most of all, for her willingness to clean their houses in exchange for a little money. Yet nobody really knew Maria's story. Nobody understood the weight of the dreams she carried in her heart. As she walked, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee drifted from a nearby cafe, stirring memories of happier times. Back then, coffee wasn't just a drink for her. It was a shared experience, a bonding moment with the husband she had lost so many years ago. Back then, life had been full of laughter and hope. But now, after more than 2 decades of scraping by, Maria had become a mere shadow, a background character in the lives of the people she cleaned for. Children playing in the streets would point and shout, "There goes the cleaner woman." Their words stung like tiny knives, but Maria kept moving. Her one and only motivation was her son, Daniel, whose innocent face and hopeful eyes spurred her on. She saw in him the chance for a future that she herself had never had. As she reached the first house on her list, Maria straightened her shoulders, adjusting the worn-out strap of her bucket. It was time to start another day of cleaning other people's houses, but what they didn't realize was that Maria was also building something of her own. With every coin she earned, she was laying the foundation for Daniel's future, brick by hard-earned brick. After cleaning Mrs. Henderson's house, Maria walked down a narrow lane, her footsteps echoing in the eerie silence. At the end of the lane stood an old, dilapidated building, its peeling paint and broken window panes telling a tale of neglect and despair. Yet for Maria, it was home. Inside, Daniel slept soundly in his room, dreaming of a world far beyond the 4 walls that confined them. He dreamed of becoming a doctor, of traveling, of experiencing a life that was so different from his mother's. Meanwhile, in the kitchen, Maria prepared a simple meal, a thin soup made from whatever vegetables she could afford. Eating was a ritual for them, a time for sharing stories and hopes, despite the cramped space and the constant struggle to make ends meet. For Daniel, his mother was the strongest, bravest, most beautiful woman he knew. How could anyone be so kind and hard-working after all they had been through? One day, while walking home from school, Daniel found solace in a library. Surrounded by books, he discovered worlds that lay beyond the confines of their tiny town. He devoured stories of adventure, of courage, of love, each page fueling his desire to break free from the cycle of poverty. He excelled in his studies, earning praise from his teachers who recognized the spark of brilliance in his eyes. But outside the classroom, the whispers followed him. "You're just the cleaner's son," they taunted, their words aimed at hurting, yet they only made him more determined. Years passed and Daniel grew, his spirit maturing like fine wine, his ambitions soaring higher with each passing day. He dreamt of becoming a doctor, of serving humanity, of making his mother proud. It wasn't easy. There were days when hunger gnawed at their bellies, and nights when the wind howled through the cracks in their home. But Maria and Daniel had each other, and that made all the difference. Maria woke up before the sun, her joints aching, her steps slow. But when she looked at Daniel asleep in his bed, his face illuminated by the faint morning light, she found renewed strength. She would do whatever it took to give him a better life. Daniel, in turn, promised his mother that he wouldn't let her down. He would study hard, become successful, and make sure that she never had to worry again. Then, one fateful day, a severe storm struck their town. The wind roared like a hungry beast, tearing at the roofs, uprooting trees, and sending shivers down the spines of those who dared venture out. The rain poured in torrents, flooding the streets and turning the lanes into raging rivers. That day, Maria couldn't make it to work. The streets were too dangerous to navigate. Fearful for her son's safety, she clutched his old jacket close, whispering prayers that he would return home safe and sound. Daniel, ever the dutiful son, hurried home from school. When he saw the worried look on his mother's face, he knew he had to act. Despite his young age, he understood the gravity of their situation. That evening, as the storm raged outside, Daniel helped his mother patch the holes in their roof, sharing stories and jokes to keep the gloom at bay. In the flickering lamplight, they found comfort in each other's presence. With time, Daniel finished high school with flying colors, his dedication earning him a scholarship to study in the city. It was a chance of a lifetime, a golden ticket to the world of medicine. When he told his mother about his plans, she was filled with pride, her eyes shining with unshed tears. But beneath that pride, a deep sadness lurked, the fear of losing her son, of facing the emptiness of their small house once again. Despite the miles that separated them, the bond between Maria and Daniel only grew stronger. He sent her money regularly, which she kept safely tucked away for his future endeavors. On special occasions, she used some of that money to buy new clothes or shoes, sacrificing her own needs to ensure his happiness. Daniel, in turn, visited them whenever he could, bringing with him stories of his life in the city and tokens of his appreciation for his mother's sacrifices. In the quiet moments, as Maria sat by the window, she would watch the sunset over the horizon, her heart swelling with love and pride. The years had been tough, but they had forged an unbreakable bond. One day, a letter arrived. It was thick, official, stamped with golden ink, and addressed to Maria in her son's familiar handwriting. Her hands trembled as she opened it. Inside was a single line written in elegant script. "We are pleased to inform you that your son, Dr. Daniel Reyes, has been selected as the director of St. Mary's Hospital." The weight of those words hit her like a tidal wave, bringing with them a mixture of pride, disbelief, and overwhelming joy. Tears streamed down her face as she reread the letter, each word resonating with the sacrifices they had made, the dreams they had nurtured. That evening, Daniel returned home. Maria, unable to contain her joy, rushed to the door, her eyes shining brighter than the stars above. "Mom, I've made it," he said, his voice choked with emotion. "Because of you." Maria's heart overflowed with love and gratitude. Her sacrifice, her years of silent labor, had bloomed into this moment. She embraced her son, feeling his warmth, his energy, the embodiment of her hopes and dreams. In that moment, the years of struggle, the pain and the loneliness seemed like a distant memory. Days turned into weeks, and Daniel worked tirelessly to settle into his new position. Yet he never forgot the roots that held him steady, the values instilled in him by his mother. One evening, he surprised Maria by taking her to a fancy restaurant, the likes of which she had only seen from afar. The food was delicious, the service impeccable, the atmosphere refined. But for Maria, it was more than just a meal. It was a celebration of her journey, a recognition of her sacrifices. "Mum, this is for you," Daniel said, his eyes shining with affection. "You deserve it." Maria, touched by her son's thoughtfulness, realized that this wasn't just about the food or the ambience. It was about sharing a special moment with her son, a moment free from the worries that had plagued them for so long. In the coming years, Daniel became a respected figure in the community, known for his kindness, his intelligence, and his unwavering commitment to his patients. He had achieved everything he had dreamed of, and more, yet he never forgot the woman who had made it all possible, the woman who had taught him the true meaning of strength and resilience. Maria's story serves as a beacon of hope, a testament to the enduring power of a mother's love and the transformative impact of a single child's devotion.